Brudiclad Telchor Engineer versus Ezuri Claw of Progress. That's not the greatest hand, but if I know anything about Magic Online, if I mulligan this, I'm not going to have a hand with any lands in it, so as opposed to being punished, I'm just going to keep hold of this one and hope that we get into some kind of ramp for the deck. Brudiclad vanishing for some reason, another weird thing that Modo does. Brudiclad Telchor Engineer is 6 mana for an Is It 4/4, gives our tokens haste, and at the beginning of combat we get a 2/1 Blue Mirror artifact token, and then all our tokens become a copy of a token we control. Yeah, we'll aim for Fabricate next turn. That can pull out an artifact from our library. Most likely go for Sol Ring or maybe even Mana Vault. Yeah, we'll work out. Oh, we're getting into plenty of mana. Mana's not going to be an issue this game. So if we go for Fabricate now, we'll have 4 lands next turn. One of them can go into a Sol Ring, but that'll take us down to... yeah, maybe a Mana Crypt is the way to go in that case. See if our opponent has any counter magic for us. Apparently not, so we will go in for Mana Crypt. And we won't bother playing that because we have nothing to play with that 2 mana, so it's just gonna be a risk in bolting us. No point taking 3 points of damage if we don't need to. Out comes Ezuri Claw of Progress. Whenever a creature with power 2 or less enters our opponent's side of the field, they get an experience counter. At the beginning of combat on their turn, they put a +1/+1 counter, or X +1/+1 counters, onto a creature where X is the experience counters that they have. Mana Crypt and Inventor's Fair, and then I think we'll gain a life from the Inventor's Fair next turn, because we will have 3 artifacts in play once Brudiclad spits out a token for us. And we won't make it a copy of anything. We're also not going to bother swinging in. I will put a stop on our upkeep for that Mystical Tutor, just in case we decide that we want to go for anything with that. Prophet of Kruphix is not something that we want to entertain the idea of. So I think we actually want to go for the exile effect with that is 2 mana Reality Shift, I think it's called. And we gain a life from the Inventor's Fair. Yeah, I think we want to go for Reality Shift here. The sooner we can get that Prophet of Kruphix out of play, the better. Or could we just go for Curse of the Swine? Would that be a better use of our mana? No, we can't because we don't have enough blue mana, so we will go for the Reality Shift here. And we could risk going for a Champion of Wits to try and get into another blue source, but I think that's just... okay, Manglehorn will get rid of our Mana Crypt, so it looks like they don't have anything else to do with Prophet of Kruphix, which actually makes me more willing to get down. Oh no, they're not going for Mana Crypt, they're going for Brudiclad. Yeah, that's fine. Manglehorn I'm not too happy about because it makes artifacts come into play tapped, which actually will slow us down considerably. Yeah, they're just going for as much stuff as they can. That shows me they don't have any counter magic in hand, unless they have a Spell Pierce here. Or a Swan Song, but that won't... well, Swan Song would, but Spell Pierce we can pay the 2 mana for. We'll hold up red just to pretend that we have a Lightning Bolt. Reality Shift on the Prophet of Kruphix. Our opponent still has 4 cards in hand. They do get a 2-drop or a 2-power creature into play. That gives them another experience counter. They're up to 4 experience counters now. We can throw out a Kobold creature token with the Kerr Keep, so I think that is our plan. And then maybe Brudiclad will cost 8, so we have 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 if we draw into a land next turn. Lotus Cobra is very, very good. The only problem with the Cyclonic Rift is we kind of give them card advantage with this manifest creature, but at least they don't have Prophet of Kruphix in play. If they just want to dump out their hand... Wow, they just have lots of artifact removal for us. That's probably going after Mana Crypt. It certainly is, so we'll activate this while we still can. And that kind of switches us off getting down Brudiclad. And a Blighted Agent. Our opponent is just on the vomiting out their hand plan. They get a couple of +1/+1 counters on their green creature thanks to Oran Reef, the Vastwood. And let's see what they want to dump all their counters onto. They go for the Manglehorn because that is going to swing in this turn. Turns it into a 9/9. And I'm assuming that this isn't anything too good because they don't care too much about losing it. I'm just going to take this damage and hope that we can do something next turn. Foundry Inspector is not good enough. We're just going to have to go for Champion of Wits. And this is in the hope that we can get into some more mana. Yeah, that's too slow, unfortunately. We'll get rid of Foundry Inspector and the Hanweir Garrison. And really could have done with a land there. We're just going to be chump blocking next turn then, I think. Oh, Prime Speaker Zagana. Yeah, the likelihood of us getting into an Ancient Tomb, which we would need to overload Cyclonic Rift. I mean, they'll still draw... They'll draw 4 cards from Prime Speaker Zagana, but it's better than them drawing 10. We're just going to have to bounce the Manglehorn. They'll get to blow up another artifact with it, but I think we're done for in this game anyway. When they get down Champion of Lampholt, that makes everything unblockable as it stands right now, so this is probably lethal. Oh, was there some first strike damage there? Oh no, didn't deal as much damage as I thought they were going to there. Champion of Lampholt is creatures with power less than Champion of Lampholt's power can't block. Or can't be blocked, I should say. So we can't block anything with power less than Champion of Lampholt, which is everything our opponent has. But without mana, there's nothing we can do. Yeah, we'll just say good game to our opponent. And we'll move on to the next Brudiclad game. Brudiclad Telchor Engineer versus Archangel Avacyn. Luckily we have a blue source in hand, so we can have Preordain replace itself after a Scry 2. Alright, eventually deciding to get the game underway. Just had to wait for a minute and a half there for some reason. We'll get into that Preordain we were talking about. Scry 2, then draw a card. And then hopefully we'll be able to go over the commanders Great Furnace and... I don't think we care particularly about Great Furnace, but I will draw into that Wooded Foothills. And then we will pass it over to our opponent. Brudiclad Telchor Engineer is a 6-mana Izzet commander, a 4/4 that gives our tokens haste. At the beginning of combat on our turn we get a 2/1 mirror, and then all of our tokens can become a copy of another token that we control. Archangel Avacyn has Flash, Flying and Vigilance for 5 mana. She is a 4/4 angel. And when she enters the battlefield, creatures you control can become indestructible until the end of the turn. And when a non-angel creature you control dies, you transform her into Avacyn the Purifier. And when she deals... when she transforms, she deals 3 damage to each other creature and each opponent, a 6/5 flyer. No reason not to get into Krenko's command here, so we'll crack the Wooded Foothills, grab ourselves a volcanic island, and start getting our token producers on the way. Champion of Wits is in our hand, and I'm just refreshing my memory on this. When it enters the battlefield, you may draw cards equal to its power. If you do, discard 2 cards, so for 3 mana it's draw 2, discard 2. But then you can Eternalize, which is 7 mana, which is exile it from the graveyard. It comes in as a 4/4 zombie. And that is a token that comes in, so we can make all of our tokens 4/4 zombies if we want to. That is assuming that the game goes for any length of time. Ancient Tomb is ramp. It's ramp that we don't currently need, but we can use that to get into Siege Gang Commander next turn. Right now, why don't we just go for this Champion of Wits. Champion of Wits comes in, we will draw 2 and discard 2. We will choose to use that ability. Wasteland, I don't think I'm too worried about, although maybe we want to use that to keep them off. Yeah, I think we have to get rid of Wasteland. I want the Ancient Tomb, and I think I'll regret getting rid of the Chaos Warp. We'll just risk getting rid of a mountain here. My idea was to go for getting rid of the Chaos Warp there. I don't think we can solely rely on keeping Avacyn off the field with Cyclonic Rift. We're hoping for a fast win with this deck usually, but if our opponent, they're in board wipe colours in both red and white, so there's nothing to say that after we get down our Siege Gang Commander that they won't then go in for a board wipe on us. Going in for a Seer's Lantern, which is 2 tap and scry 1. It's also tapping for, it taps for a colourless mana. I'm hoping that we draw into another land. Yeah, getting into Inferno Titan makes me regret getting rid of that mountain. But we've got another chance to draw into one yet. And I don't think we go for Inferno Titan first. I think we go for Brudiclad. Siege Gang Commander comes in with 3 Goblin tokens. And I wondered actually about turning this into not necessarily Goblin Tribal, but maybe adding Krenko to the deck, something like that, because we do have lots of Goblin token producers. But I think Brudiclad likes to make use of lots of artifacts. We do have Mishra's Workshop in here, for instance, and Mishra's Workshop is a land that taps for 3 colourless mana, but you can only put that mana into artifacts. So if we were running some kind of Goblin-themed deck, then we wouldn't make much use out of Mishra's Workshop. But I don't suppose we'd ever be struggling to use our mana with Mishra's Workshop, because if Brudiclad keeps dying, then we can just pump the 3 mana into that. Out comes Legion's Initiative. That is a buff for Boros creatures. Exile all creatures you control. Yeah, so that's a flicker effect for all of your creatures. Let me just make sure it doesn't do it to our creatures. Yeah, it's all creatures that our opponent controls. Good way of getting ETB triggers to go on the stack again. Trinket Mage gets us into a mana rock at least. Yeah, regretting now that our opponent's kind of slow rolled some cards out, I'm regretting not getting rid of that Chaos Warp, but obviously didn't have all that information available to me at the time. They still have a full grip of 6 in the hand. Taking a big hit here. They might just be sitting back on a board wipe and not necessarily care about what we are doing. We will go in for the Trinket Mage though. And then Trinket Mage can grab us I think Sol Ring is okay, or Skull Clamp is good as well, isn't it? Yeah, I think Skull Clamp is actually better because we can draw into more than 2 mana with a Skull Clamp if it sticks around long enough. We'll get rid of this creature so that we can eternalize it later, and also we want to keep as many tokens in play as possible. Here's hoping for a land here. Well, it's a land, it's not a coloured land, but let's go, yeah, we'll put that on the Trinket Mage, then if our opponent does board wipe, we'll draw a card. Like I said, we do want to get down as many tokens as possible, so sacking them to Skull Clamp isn't necessarily what we're about in this deck. But I think Skull Clamp was the right play there. If we get into another land with Skull Clamp, then it was worth going for because we've drawn into and played the 2 mana that we would have got from Sol Ring. And then there's potentially more value to grab with Skull Clamp as well. But our opponent is in the colours that can easily get rid of artifacts. Zealous Conscripts. Not really sure what they're worried about grabbing with Zealous Conscripts. They might just go for Trinket Mage to try and get some damage on us. Yeah, as good a cards as I think we have that in this deck actually. Let me look over the deck list very quickly. Yeah, we have Zealous Conscripts in this deck. As good a card as that is, you kind of need your opponent to be doing something really abusive to make use of it, and we're not really. They can take the Skull Clamp, and okay, they can take Zealous Conscripts. The Ancient Tomb with Zealous Conscripts. And that will allow them to tap down for 2 mana. Maybe they've got another mana up to play. We will get that back at the end of the turn, I think, if I'm remembering this card correctly. You gain control of it until the end of the turn, yes. So they're just after the 2 mana for some reason. Okay, looks like they were just using the Zealous Conscripts for a body. And we will definitely block with Trinket Mage here because that not only kills the Zealous Conscripts, but it also draws us 2 cards. We don't care about Trinket Mage being in play. I'm not sure what our opponent was aiming at there. That's not really a particularly good play, and we have gotten into that second piece of mana from the Skull Clamp, so that was definitely worth going for over the Sol Ring. Brudiclad is what we're going for here, and I think we actually have the win. We will have 10 damage, actually 12 damage just from the tokens once they are turned into mirrors. So Brudiclad will throw out a mirror token, and then we'll turn our goblins into mirror tokens. That will give them twice as much power as they had previously. And we will deal 14 damage to our opponent, knocking them down to -1. So not a particularly exciting game of Brudiclad, but it does show you how the deck wants to run, the type of things you want to do. I'll probably stick this onto another video, or I'll release it alongside a different video. I don't know. This can be a bit of bonus content for you all. So hope you all enjoyed that Brudiclad deck. Be sure to continue to let me know the decks that you want to see and the commanders that you maybe want to see me build. I do have a bit of a backlog on the go. This channel is really time consuming, so it's I can't get everything done that I want to do, but one day I'll live the dream and do this for a living, I'm sure. That is a pipe dream of mine, but I don't see that coming into fruition. But hey, you never know. Maybe I will. I'm rambling. I'm Tribalkai on the EDH channel. I'll see you in the next one.